So how do you think people see lawyers and perceive, especially like wills and trust lawyers?
I don't think all lawyers have the best reputation, unfortunately. I think clients assume as soon as they see us that clock's ticking. I think it's getting better. With wills and a lot of work we do, it's actually fixed fee work as well. So the client will know from the outset how much it's going to cost. I think clients will often say to me, that was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And that's the other thing. It's like that, you know, they see wills as a luxury, as in, I'll do it when I'm ready or when I can afford to, but actually they're a necessity. And when they come to see us, I do find afterwards they're relieved because they can put it away. They don't need to think about it. They might again at another time in their life, but once they've done that, it's such a relief. And wills are there to build on. So once they've done the first will, it's easier for them to think about all these other questions. We normally send a questionnaire in advance anyway, so the client's thinking about certain things beforehand. I think the biggest thing that gets them is the kind of worst Armageddon situation when I hit them with that, you know, what if something happens to all of you? And it's not nice to think of. But I think once they've thought that through and they've got it down in black and white, they're really pleased. They often come to us for tax planning, obviously, and that's something that we specialise in and I do a lot of. So we can do that around, it's not just within the will, but we can talk about the inheritance tax rules and what their assets are and what can and can't be done. Misconception, sometimes clients come thinking that whatever I can wave a magic wand and stop tax. I can't do that, but I can give them the tax rules and tell them what we're going to do is going to affect it this way or that way. But we're just people as well. And I think the clients realise once they come through the door, we see them face to face. We see a lot of clients on Teams now if we need to. But when we see them, I think they realise actually they're just asking questions. They're just there to help us. And it's not necessarily as formal and as upsetting as it needs to be.
I think you're right. I think there's this whole like stigma, isn't there, that a lawyer's going to be some old man with a big beard behind a dusty set of books. And, you know, you're not an old man with a dusty beard.
Not yet.
But I think that's right. And I do think, you know, law as a profession is definitely getting more diverse. I mean, we as a firm do lots with like the universities locally and the future of the profession. And I think it's so nice to see that there are so many different types of people and types of personalities that are wanting to get into law. And I think that's what I really like doing. One of the best things about working at Dutton Gregory is that it gives me the ability to go and work with the universities and sort of mentor the students. Because I remember what it was like when I was first coming into law. I had, you know, my mum was a legal secretary, but had given it up 15, 20 years before I was born. So I didn't have anyone to knock those doors down for me. And actually giving someone the experience to build connections and to work with lawyers and even see what inside a law firm is like. That I think was the thing that took me aback. And a lot of the students that come in and go, yeah, it's not like I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be like Suits and you'd have this high-rise building and you'd all be in these big glass box offices. And actually, you know, our Chandler's Ford office is a big open plan centre, isn't it?
Yeah. And do you find in your area of work, they're coming to you, they're at one of the most difficult points in their life, obviously, going through a divorce or having an issue with you know, children issues? Do you find it's, you know, really difficult to sort of get down to the, you know, the importance of the legal aspect?
Yeah, it's an emotive subject. I mean, especially when it's like the breakdown of a marriage and sometimes they found out some really horrible and shocking things about the person that they're in love with. And I guess it's similar to yourself. They are grieving and they are mourning because they're grieving and mourning a loss of a life that they knew, you know, as a married person.
Yeah.
And I think that is hard. And, you know, I like to think and hope that I am empathetic and understanding. And I think for me, that's one of the key elements of a family lawyer is being with that person and seeing what's important to them.
Yeah.
But also saying, well, these things I get are important to you. But if it comes to a judge, these are the things that are going to be important to the judge. And I guess that's probably one of the key things from what I do as a family lawyer is saying, well, these are the areas that we need to focus on. And I know that, you know, the fact they may have cheated on you may be really difficult. And understandably, you feel awful and you will resent them and hate them for it. But actually, if we come in front of a court, they're probably not going to care too much about that. They're going to be looking at what the assets are, what people need to meet their future requirements, and how they can set them up now with a future life.
I sometimes find the job, you know, it's really tough because the clients are coming, when we're dealing with obviously probate work, the client's coming to you at the most difficult point in their life. You know, they've lost a loved one, they're grieving. It's nice to be able to help them at the worst time and give them that kind of guidance, because sometimes there's just stacks of paperwork and they're grieving. They don't want to do that. They need the lawyer to do that. They need to hand it over. And we tried to do it in the most organised way possible, while taking into account they've got all this grieving to do as well, that they need to be able to do that. So I don't want to keep emailing you every single day to say, just to remind you of what's happening. But on the other hand, I need to update you. I need to take you through the process.